Hello and welcome again everyone to G Squared, where excellence is epitomized, as you know already. If you have not already subscribed to my channel, just please hit the subscribe button and like my videos, share with your friends and family. Okay, now today I'm gonna be talking about a very controversial issue, something that of course is gonna be dear to my heart, you know, something which is pretty much in the media right now. Now, Bob Marley said, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind, and that is still going on today. You know, we always thought that, boy, we're free from the shackles, so we're free from slavery, you know, but then there's the mental aspect of the slavery that we need to get over and that we need to re-educate ourselves about. You know, I'm just going to talk about my opinion on systemic racism today. That's really what I'm going to be talking about, systemic racism. This is just my opinion. You know, if you have any views or any other comments, you can always add your comments in the comment section, you know. But this is just my opinion on the matter of systemic racism and how we can break it down and what needs to be done, you know, to get people re-educated, because we all have been indoctrinated, not just whites but blacks. Everyone has been indoctrinated about systemic racism without us even realizing that it's going on. So we must have the discussion, and if it is that something should come out of this movement right now, it must be education. I believe, as an educator, I think that education of the people must come from this movement right now. Now, so how deeply entrenched is systemic racism? Some people say there is no such thing as systemic racism. But today I want to just say, hey, yeah, there is systemic racism, and I just want to show how deep systemic racism is, really. But we have been throwing that word out there, but really, what is systemic racism? And you know, systemic racism really is, it's just institutionalized practices, things which we do on a normal, which marginalize people based on their color. I'm not gonna say it marginalizes black people, right? I'm going to say marginalized people based on their color. Now, marginalized doesn't necessarily, even though it insinuates or it connotates negativity, people who claim that they're superior are also marginalized because they're in the minority, so to speak, right? So it's not just the so-called minority who are marginalized, right? So that's systemic racism, things which we do in common practice every day that we don't even realize, are things that we engage in that we don't even realize that this is really, you know, this is really racism right now going on, you know. So the first thing, and I'm going to be looking down, this is not going to be like one of my normal videos where I'm just focused on the camera, you know. I'm just going to be checking my notes from time to time to see what I really want to say. So the first thing is vocabulary. Wow, vocabulary. What on earth does vocabulary have to do with racism or systemic racism? Maybe overt racism, somebody calling you the N-word or somebody calling you something like that, you know, I don't know. No one has ever called me those things really in that sort of fashion. So I'm not say, hey, I've been exposed like that, but people have been called those things and have been victimized like that. But vocabulary plays an important role. When we look in the dictionary, let's look at the dictionary, for example. There are words in the dictionary with meanings. Of course, we know this. And I may sound redundant, I may sound rhetorical, but I hope you're getting what I'm saying here. Okay? So there are words in the dictionary. Look at the words with black versus the words with white. Things like black magic versus white magic. You know what I mean? Look at that. Black magic is seen to be for your evil purposes and for doing evil to the world and bad things. It's selfish, it's all of these things. But then when you look at it, you see white magic. And that's all good. It's for the people, it's for the masses, it's for empowerment, it's for doing healing and all of these things. So people will see black and white and they're like, black is bad. But then let me not stop there, and I'm not going to elaborate on every single thing. But there are words like blackmail, blacklist, blackout. You know, we associate these things, black things, with negative things. So whenever children are learning, or whenever people are developing their vocabulary and they're exposed to these words, and the words with black mean negative, while the words with white mean positive, they're automatically going to start thinking, hey, black is bad and white is good. And the seed of indoctrination, or the indoctrination seed of white supremacy or white superiority, has started to be sown at that point in time. Remember, this is just my opinion on the matter, you know. So it starts with vocabulary, I believe, and that's one of the first things children learn. They learn words, and they learn words from people around them. And so therefore, if they're associating black with negative and white with positive, then they're going to start seeing black as being something bad. Alright? So that's the first thing. Now my second thing here is that we must have a curriculum change. Now I'm from the Caribbean, yeah? I'm from Jamaica. So, I mean, they do Caribbean history in the Caribbean, and it's CSEC history that they're doing, you know. And the history starts in 1492. And that is what we're being taught, is our history. I don't believe there is any way that we should be taught our history beginning in 1492. I just think that is a grave injustice to us, that we're being taught that the first time we become in existence, or the first time where there's knowledge of our existence, is it begins in 1492, for example, so to speak. You know, that's just ludicrous for me, pretty much. That is the case. The curriculum has to change. Children need to learn that, look, before Columbus came to this side of the world with his friends there, people were already here. People came from other parts of the world before Columbus came here. And we need to know these things, and we need to understand these things. You know, and if I say anything that you totally disagree with, that's fine. But you can always go and just do a little search of these matters to see if what I'm saying is actually factual, or it's, of course, fiction. You know? So, I'm just saying, we cannot start our curriculum in 1492 for teaching history. It has to begin before that. Now you're going to say, hey, we want to simplify it. No, let's not simplify the thing. Let us teach the children the truth from the beginning. Don't indoctrinate them with a Columbus story and then try to erase that sort of indoctrination later on. It's hard to bend an old tree. You know, it may break. Alright? It's hard to teach old dogs new tricks, pretty much. Okay? So therefore, I believe the curriculum has to change with respect to when history begins being taught. Okay? So the next thing for me, it's literature. Literature. You know, you look in books, literature books, you look in historical books, you look in a lot of books. And there are many books that we're just not being exposed to because of access, or because of whatever the case might be. You know, whatever reason why we're not accessing these books. But when we look in books, what we're seeing generally is a theme. The theme of the black man being portrayed as a villain, as the antagonist, you know, the person who's the bad, the evil, those sort of things. And then the white person is being portrayed as the protagonist, the hero, the one who everyone looks up to, the one who's maintaining the peace and all of these things. You know? And so therefore, this, I believe, sets something in the mind of the reader, the mind of the person looking in this book, that the black person is evil, the black person is not good, the black person is not somebody you'd want to be around, but the white person is something that you should aspire to, because they're the hero of the story. And I think in literature, these things, well, I don't know, they may not ever be addressed, because it's not like you can go and rewrite books and reprint and all of these things. But I'm just saying, this is how deep systemic racism is, that this is the case. that in books you're seeing these things. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Alright, so the next thing on my list here, and it's just a few things, it's not going to be a very long video, it's just a few things. You know, it's all about the media. The media plays such a vital role in the way how people think and the way how people treat other people. The media is extremely important in that regard. Now, I've watched a few documentaries like Only Five Came Back or Five Came Back, you know. I've watched documentaries where the media depicts people, black people, in such a way that the populace dislikes them, because only time you're seeing them in media is if they're in handcuffs, is if they're being chased by a dog, is if they're in some demeaning position. So the media plays a vital role, I believe, in the transformation of this thing. Why is it that a white man should play a black man's role? Why is it that a white man should play an Asian's role? And I'm not going off on a tangent here, so to speak, but I'm just saying, why is that the case? Why is it that an Asian can't play an Asian role? Is it that Asians are not good enough to play their role? Is it that blacks are not good enough to play their role? That a white person has to play their role? I totally disagree with that. We have some excellent actors and actresses who can do all of these things that the white can do, you know? So, no, another thing about the media, I grew up watching a lot of westerns. And when I watch westerns, it was always cowboys and Indians. And we always wanted the cowboys to win because we saw the Indians as these barbaric people, people with no intellectual capabilities, people who were savages, because that was the portrayal on the media. You know, an apology of these things is good and great and whatever for me. Yeah, fine. But the damage, I think, has been done and probably still continues to be done when people are being portrayed in that way. And let us not forget that those natives are natives. The word native means that they're from the place. You know, and the Europeans, so to speak, came and saw them and decided that, hey, we want your land and we're going to take it by any means necessary. And this is portrayed in westerns. And we look at these westerns and we're like, yeah, we want the cowboy to win because, you know, the Indian is the villain. The cowboy again is the protagonist, and the villain, and the Indians is the antagonist. He's the one causing problems. He's the one who doesn't want to share his buffalo, who doesn't want to share his land, who doesn't want to share these things. When it was the cowboys who came and stole their land. But that's what media does. Media does these things. And when we look at media, I remember when I was growing up way back in the day, if you were not a certain complexion, you could not work at the front of the bank. As a matter of fact, your hair had to be straight for you to work at the front of the bank, so to speak. You know, you had to get a job around the back because nobody wants to expose anyone who's too dark like myself in complexion, you know, at the front of their business place because it's bad for business. So the media, I think, is extremely important in helping with this issue of systemic racism. I'm just saying, this is how I see racism and how deep systemic racism is, that it is portrayed in this way in media. And when we watch media, we are being indoctrinated by these things. I might sound like a conspiracy theorist now. But if you think about it, who did you want to win? The cowboy or the Indian? Who did you really want to win? You know, think about those things. Have you seen white people play Asians in movies? Have you seen them play black people? Colored their faces, so to speak, and done these things? Have you ever seen it? You know, you can comment in the section below. Maybe I'm off my chains. Maybe I'm just too emotional. But I'm just expressing my opinion, and I have my opinion and I can express it. You know, another issue with, and this one is going to cause a lot of problems because people are going to be like, so you have to attack us as well. I'm not really attacking anyone. I'm just saying what my opinion on something is. Now, when we look at things like bleaching, why do people bleach? Why are people bleaching? You know, what is the issue? Why do you want to become lighter skin color? Now, there's an artist who sang that your skin is clean like a coloring book, you know, and this sort of thing. And so people, they want their tattoos to show. So, hey, I'm bleaching because I want my tattoo to show. But then I believe, this is my belief, there is a deeper psychological issue why people bleach. They're bleaching because they feel inferior, and what they're seeing in the media are people who are brown skin. Their tattoos show better, for example. They're making better progress in life because, not necessarily because, but it helps. We can't deny it helps because of the color of their skin. They apply to a job and they don't get it, and somebody else of lighter skin goes and gets the secretary job because, hey, they don't want somebody who looks like that in their business place. You know, so bleaching is an issue. It's a mental slavery issue that we are facing as black people, because we feel that if you're light skinned, you are superior. And it's not every black person that's bleaching. Come on, it's not everyone that's bleaching. But those who are bleaching, it's just an aspect or a side effect of this indoctrination of systemic racism. That is just my belief. Of course, I keep on saying that. All right, no, oh my God, this is gonna be crazy now, because you'll recognize that there are people who, black people I'm talking about now, when they become so-called successful in life, they have lots of money, they have lots of friends, you know, they decide that they want a spouse, and the spouse that they get is someone white, to fit into the social circle, so to speak. And I'm speculating here by saying fit into the social circles. You can create your own judgment based on that. But why is it? And I'm not saying I'm against or for interracial marriages. I'm just saying, if it is that you have now become successful, is there a need, or do you think there is a need, or do people feel like there is a need for them to go and marry someone that is white because it may be seen as stepping up in life? You know what I mean? In Jamaica, we have a browning culture. Browning. And the songwriter said it. Carol love bike, but most of all he loves is browning. So I guess we have a browning culture. If you have a brown girlfriend or a brown white people, whoa, that's a very good looking girl. You know what I mean? So I've recognized that people do that. They marry brown or white when they become successful in life, as if it's something that I'm taking myself out of the place that I was into a higher place, because there's no black woman who's off that level, and geez, I shouldn't even say that, who I should marry when I get to this stage. Or I'm very wrong. These people have found love, and the person that they found love with was with a white person. That's it. You know, I could be very wrong about that. A lot of people may be very upset with that statement, but again, I'm just saying what I've observed people have done, and I believe it's a part of the systemic racism that if you become successful, you should get somebody who is white or light skinned. You know what I mean? So these are just some things, and I know that there are many others. If you have other things that you think are side effects or symptoms of systemic racism, you can leave a comment. And if you have any questions, if you want to have a discussion about the matter, I don't mind having a discussion about the matter, because I think that this is an issue that we are facing, and this may be an issue that we're going to be facing for a very, very long time. There are people, I believe, who think that this is a sprint, so to speak. This is not really a sprint, this is a marathon thing. Personally, I believe, and it's not going to just be one after 6 months. Maybe it will take 6 years. Maybe it will take 60 years. I don't know. Amen. But it's a fight that we have to get into. And if we're going to tackle it, I think we have to look at those little things which play a big part in, because those little things are the things which play a big part in how people behave. And so I think education is the key. People need to be educated. White people need to be educated. Black people need to be educated about these things. And we may need to see psychiatrists as well because of what has been done to us. You know, I think we need to look at these things. So this is just my take on systemic racism. If you have any comments, as I've been saying, you can just leave your comments, and I'll see what we can do from there about it. But let us keep on fighting for this thing. We see a lot of strides being made, and we want to continue to make strides. I don't have a problem with people tearing down statues, but I think maybe there are bigger issues that we need to be tackling. And I guess we're taking it step by step. Let's take down statues first. Let's get people out of jobs that they're not qualified for, etc., etc., and let us move in strides, take it step by step. But I just think, you know, there are some issues that we definitely need to tackle at some point in time, as I've mentioned in this video. So thank you for watching. Again, this is Gilly Gills for G Squared Academy, where excellence is epitomized. And I hope you like the video, and like, share, and subscribe with your family and friends. I'll see you next time.